An intentional way to really upset a white person is to call them racist. And that will just about guarantee that they won't hear another word you have to say after that. And this is because people are thinking of being racist as an individual who consciously does not like people based on their race and knowingly tries to harm them. This horrible, awful, racist individual is completely aware of what they're doing, and they hate other races, and they purposefully want to make their life miserable. So if this is your perception of what a racist person does, of course you're going to be immediately insulted and defensive. They're basically telling you you're a horrible person. But this definition of racism is referring to interpersonal racism, and it's this precise reason that a misunderstanding occurs about what we're talking about, and it makes a general discussion about systemic racism with white people almost impossible. An imperative step is to help white Americans understand that we are not talking about them personally as an individual. Discussing systemic racism gets them just as defensive as discussing interpersonal racism. And we were all born into this systemic stuff. So it's just somehow, if white people are going to get through to other white people and educate them, we have to figure out how to drop the defensiveness. They just need to know we're referring to a system. I hate to say it this way, but it's not about them. You know, it's about a system, because they always make it about themselves, which is tempting. You know, we've had a lot of practice. I'm going to talk about systemic racism. And unlike interpersonal racism, systemic racism is about power over the masses, not about individual rotten people who are immoral, which is a lot of times what people think. Today in America, most white people have absolutely no concept about that our culture was purposely built on white supremacy. They say, why are you playing the race card? When people say that, it's a fundamental, completely ignorant misunderstanding. The race card, if you're a person of color in America, you are the race card. There's no playing it. It's played in every single part of your life. I mean, it's everywhere. We created the system. We need to figure this out and educate each other. If we're not taught the real racial history, the truth, the gory, barbaric, sick, depraved truth in school, aka real history, it makes it really, really hard for white people to understand systemic racism. It's a huge challenge, even if they're open to it. They don't know our system was built to help white elites accumulate wealth and power, and to make other white people feel that if they just worked a little harder, they too could be financially successful. It's a con job. They don't understand the concept of that race was intentionally invented as a dividing point. So they're not seeing the system, they're seeing it's all about them. And the saddest part is, for them, they're working against themselves. Today, the rich people, wealthy people are getting richer, and our middle class is dwindling, as most people know. The average white American is delusional if they think that real equality is going to happen without some sort of huge cultural shift. It's way past time for white Americans to educate themselves about a real racial history so they can understand that we're being played by the system. We're being used by the wealthiest elites, and we've been falling for it for centuries. So white people end up upholding racism in America. It's not just this depraved and inhumane thing they're doing. They're working against their own best interests. So it's time for white America to catch on. It's against our better interest to be racist. We need anti-racism programs in every public school in the United States. The wealthy people literally will not allow it. It's not hard to teach anti-racism education. It takes time and it takes patience, but white people can do this thing. It's not for lack of having a program. It's not that. It's the people who, the powers that may be, they don't want it. We were all born into this system. It's not our fault, but that doesn't mean white people should just accept it and allow it to go on. Like, oh, I was born into it, so it's not. It shouldn't be status quo. Systemic racism is extremely harmful, built in, and is kind of like this accepted as part of the, for the establishment group, I guess, is this accepted thing that we white folks just can't see. And a lot of it is the clever propaganda that is continuously being spewed in the United States by the wealthiest white elites to ensure that we remain divided from each other with fear and resentment, and we never see the real cause of our hardship, which is them. We got serious propaganda thing going on. The demonizing of Black people as criminals, overly sexual, and oh my God, the lie. Ronald Reagan started the lie of the welfare queen. The welfare queen that he referenced was a white lady. In fact, he didn't even have to say it wasn't, because everyone assumed it was a Black person. I mean, this stuff's sick. It's built into our society. And white America just eats it up and has since the very beginning. It's way past time for us to take racial responsibility. When I say this, I always like to qualify it. People of color and Black people, they're going to get their equality. They're going to get it. They don't need a white savior. They're going to save themselves, and they are saving themselves. But I personally believe that this process needs to be expedited with our support. And it's in our own best interest. If you're the most racist white person on the planet, it's still in your best interest, unless you're incredibly white and incredibly wealthy.